What's up?
Hello.
What are we here for?
Hello.
I don't know. All I know is the cool kids wear beanies.
What are you really talking about? Yeah, but championship kids wear golf hats.
Golfer. Oh, it's Hissy Cat. What's up, man?
Can't wait for that season to get started. Hey, everybody. Guess what? We're going to take a second shot at this game review stuff that we did. Did we do it at the end of the year or beginning of the year?
Beginning of the year.
Beginning of the year, all right.
For the whole year. Ulan.
We discussing our options. You're Todd, how you doing, sir? About what we're going to do going forward. We're definitely not going to be a weekly show. We were just talking about that because, okay, well, Todd has a life. Andrew and I, we don't know. We just do what we do. But I think that would be, we were talking, that'd be just too pushing for us to try to do a weekly show. We do it when we can. Now, I'm going to plug this now so that all y'all, it's already posted. Hopefully somebody else seen it. I think the show that we're going to do in 2 weeks is going to be freaking awesome. And I'm hoping we'll get a lot of good feedback like we did on our first show we did at the beginning of the year. So, but tonight we're going to ramble a little bit about what we played. Now, I'm not going to lie to y'all. It has been kind of tight to the vest for me. I didn't complete a whole lot of stuff. Matter of fact, I think I only completed since the 10th of January 3 games. And I've had 3 other ones that I've set up and toyed with. I don't know about you. How about you all? Did you leave anything out there or take it down that you just did not get over to?
No, I completed 3 games.
Yeah, we figured you did.
Yeah, we figure you'll be the only one doing, hey, what's up, not Jay? The only one doing real reviews. This is all you now. All
right, so we're going to turn it over to Andrew, and we'll talk to y'all in 2 weeks. See ya.
Everyone's commenting on the hat show, so I think we're going to have to change the name to the hat show.
Yeah, I couldn't find my beanie. It's, sorry. Or my God.
Again, only the cool kids wear beanies. Ow.
That is not.
Button-down collared shirts, and I got to get a robe is what I got to do. So.
No, wait, man, that's my calling card.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Can I just hang one in the back wall? And
yeah, I'll send you one.
No, thank you. Appreciate that. Not 6 millimeter though, please. All right. So while we're deciding on what we're going to throw out here, those of you in chat, tell us what you played recently, so we can cut in and out and jibber jabber about what y'all had on the table. Okay, let's narrow that down. What did you get on the table that you finished in the last 30 days? So y'all think about that one. All right, so I'll kick this thing off here. Usually we rate this stuff, and we've all got a sheet of ratings. And I'll kick out the first one here. And I'm going to go back to Kharkov battles from Cubs games. So I can't even remember when I got that thing. I'm going to pop up my window here in a second. Give me 1 moment.
Hey, what's up, Tony?
Can somebody run over the categories real quick for the viewers so they know what they're looking about?
Todd, why don't you do that while I find this?
Okay. Yeah, and the reason I left the room is because he asked what games we'd finished in the last 30 days, so I had to leave. Okay, so the categories are you ready? Appearance and components. Actually, here, let me pull this up. I got it right here. I can share my screen, but okay. Well, let me just read it.
Yeah, go ahead. Wait, let me put you on there. Hold on.
So it's appearance and
there we go.
Okay. And bloop.
Oh, I like this. They dropped a solo layout button right on your image now.
Yeah, so you need to admit my screen share. There you go. Okay. So appearance and components, rule book, sequence of play and game mechanics, replayability and solo ability, and scale. We talked about maybe changing one of those. I don't remember. Anyway, and then we have kind of our score, but you can say whatever you want, but we won't. 5 being the best and 1 being the worst. You don't have to worry about.
Our scale was our 1 to 5 rating, and we were talking about modifying that. So
yeah, you don't have to worry about these little numbers here at the end. McMurray, those are my deals. So
no, I got you.
Yeah, we'll go off the rail a little bit, all of us here, and we'll have our own opinions about what we enjoyed, what we didn't. So my first one, and I started it at the end of December, but I didn't finish playing it until the 10th of January. I'm sorry, not the end. No, I played it in January. I finished playing it on 10 January, and that was the Kharkov battles, before and after Fall Blau. and I played the Battle of Second Kharkov, and I ended up with a German major victory in that game. I'm not the biggest on Compass games. I mean, I have a few, but it's like my Compass games, what I got, 10 maybe? No, I don't even have that. I think I got about eight of them. And they're all World War II with the exception of one, and that is NATO. And I only bought that because the original NATO years ago from Victor Games was a game that I really enjoyed. So I figured I'll grab that, but I haven't played it. Not sure if I ever will. I know it's a good looking game mode. There's a lot of stuff on that one. He really enjoys that. But all of them are pretty much World War II. So I played this one, Kharkov Battles, and I believe this is bounced off the same system that Fall Blau is, which I do hope to play Fall Blau. Y'all, you know me, it's ACW and East Front. I love that stuff to death. So I'm sorry, Stig, you're at Kharkiv. Appearance and components of the game, awesome. Compass does do a great job for the most part with their maps and their counters. They're usually easy to deal with, and I think those are bigger too, if I remember. They were bigger counters. So, rule book, I get a lot of people that I know that holler about the rule books. I don't have an issue with them. I really don't. With finding stuff in them, I don't really have a problem with doing any of that stuff. Sequence playing the game mechanics. Okay, so the game mechanics in that one is it the Victory in the West system, the SPI starter, where you have the variable counter strengths, where you might have A, B, or C, or something like that. And I believe that's what it was. Yeah, so you have an A-rated unit, and you'll draw an A-chip counter. And what's really cool is once you put that, you don't know what kind of strength that unit's going to get. You might draw an A where his strength is a 3, or you might draw an A where his strength is a 12. And you happen to get 2 or 3 units in a stack that are A's, and you draw a bunch of 12s on those A's, and you've just got a killer force. Now, you really want to have fun with this game? After combat, remove your counter. And next time they go into combat, draw a different counter. Maybe they got reinforced. Maybe they had to detach some units in the process. And I thought about doing that many times. I thought that might be an interesting concept. So, but enjoy the game. That's why I want to get the Fall Blau and play that too. Replayability, solo ability, it's fine. And it's fine because of that A, B, C, draw your combat chit type thing. All right. So it's kind of like playing these, like just the one I just played with the untried units, not knowing what strength is in there before you get after it. So,
Question.
Go ahead, fire away.
So, okay, so this is, and you may have said this, sorry, but this is a follow-up to Fall Blau, same by Compass Games, same guy?
Yeah, and it's built around the front and the back ends of Fall Blau.
So I actually played this. The guy was playtesting it. I think he's from St. Louis here. And so, but it was a long time ago, and it was super beta, super into the play. I mean, early into the play test, and I was super confused because I think he was still working through a lot of it. Right. So
right.
I did not get a good impression, but I knew where he was. So, but it's still hard to separate yourself from that, that kind of.
Right.
So,
and no stig in the rules, they do stay. Once you put a strength marker under, they stay. But I just thought it might be kind of fun to remove them. So after the fact, what did I rate this thing? I mean, yeah, this is a punch and clip. This is a keeper. I definitely think the maps are good looking, and I think they have see what they got on here. Yeah,
punch and clip is a 3.
Yes, that is a 3 on our scale of 1 to 5. So yeah, I definitely punch a clip. It's not going out of my system. I'm going to keep it.
Would I have it and lease it?
There is really no description to whether on what rates you release in your gaming library. So we just wait and hope that
there's no way to know. Wait, where'd your beanie go, Todd?
We just never know with Todd. So
yeah. You guys will ask, like, what games do you have? Like, I got rid of all of them. I'm not wargaming anymore. I leased them all out.
Until he finds a new system, then he'll buy. Oh, well, I'll tell you what. We're gonna go big screen on Todd. We're gonna let you do the next one, but I'm gonna pop the question here before you do it. So
okay. I thought
solo Todd be up here. We got any questions there that we need to answer before we move on?
I mean, so what this variable combat thing, isn't that used to, I don't know what Stigler's talking about, but oh yeah, okay. So isn't that also used in one of those new East Front games coming out? Either was that used in Jaws of Victory?
Yeah, Jaws of Victory, Killing
That's not
ground.
new. That's not new, but is that the same system or they just use that particular mechanic?
Well, I think the mechanic is similar.
But
That started with Victory in the West. The Victory in the West, I believe, it started with the Victory in the West.
yeah, it is Victory in the West. Yeah, and you got a couple of those in the mail, didn't you? Like the Sicily or the Salerno or something.
I did. The first one that I actually played was one Rich sent me.
There you go, Operation Typhoon
or something like that. So
yeah, Operation Typhoon.
Typhoon. I'm sorry, I take that back. I stand corrected because I had Operation Typhoon sitting around herself. I did play it 2 years ago, I think, or a year and a half ago. So yeah, so I did play that with the variable strength part, and it's like I say, it's cool too. And what's even you could actually take the strength counter, stick them on the units, and not look at them. But it's so cool to move a unit in there. You say, "Oh, that's an A type unit. I'm going to get some good strength out of that," and then you draw one of the lower A chips in the game.
And what are the? I'm sorry, what's the scale? What are the units?
Well, they've been different games. I think they were battalions or regiments. Yeah, I think they're the different games, different ones. That one I want to say was regiments. It was the smallest. Yeah. But they, like I said, they all have their different little touch to it. But variable strength is, if you like to play these big games solo, that's a good mechanic to have in a game to play solo to get yourself some fog of war, because you commit yourself to attack against an untried infantry unit, and you're thinking, this is early East Front 41 or Poland 39. You got an untried unit there, and you're just going to pound through this infantry unit and march on. And then he flips that counter over, and he's got one of the stronger, and you don't know that. And playing solo, you draw your, just like the Drive on Stalingrad player, you draw your chits. You don't get to look at them, and you drop them on the map, and off you go.
Yeah. So. Real quick, I just want to read a couple of the comments here. Ulan says Hat Club for Men. I thought it said Hot Club for Men. Richard Champion, do it in your underwear. Tony's board life. Hello, gentlemen. I use that word lightly. Richard Champion's playing combat. Hissy Cat's playing carrier battles. Yeah, I think Hissy's done a couple videos on those. Mm-hmm. Tavar, BCS Era Core, fantastic system. Still want to get that figured out.
You got this, Todd.
And then Stigler's been playing at playtest that's near conclusion on a battle from my By Swords and Bayonets, New Bern. Not Jay, Gunfire Royale, Pew Pew.
I still don't have that.
McMurray looks like a Royal Marine Commando. My opponent lives in France, but we tend to exchange 2 to 3 files a day between us. That's pretty cool. Then a bunch of insulting of Jeff's pronunciation. Victory in the West came after Typhoon, but Typhoon was kind of the, I guess, grandfather, father, mother, anyway, whatever. Okay, cool. Do you want me to talk about my first one?
Yeah, you want which window you want?
You can just show, if you want to just pull it up. It's I don't need to show that. I mean,
before we get to this, Charles, Tengen 1914, let us know how that works. That's one of my games is directly related to that, and that's a very high point of interest for me. You got to let us know how that works.
Isn't that the East Africa thing?
Yes, East Africa during World War II or World War I. I'm sorry, Germany, East Africa.
He's knocking out some battles. Oh, I just saw your South Mountain. Was it South Mountain, I think, post? Did you just release that one?
Dude. Hey, Ulan, thank you so much for making I don't even care if I play those games, whatever games you're making for. I thank you for making them, because I thank all the people that make that stuff. Ooh, okay. Oh,
occasional downtown occasional.
Occasional is playing Skyhawk Rolling Thunder 1966. That's 66. That sounds cool. Skyhawks are cool. Okay, so I don't know if you're going to pull this up on your BGG, but I played a couple games of ASL Starter Kit Decision at Elst Scenario 1. Which is very small. Did a couple videos on him. So I did start and play and finish. I finished this twice, actually. Dang. What am I thinking? I mean, yes, it's 3 tanks and 3 British infantry units, but hey, that's all right. So
that's okay.
The starter kit Decision at Elst is their historical scenario pack. So they don't sell it anymore. Unfortunately, it goes for like $150, which is insane. Jeff was kind enough to find one for me for some good price. I don't know. Might have been a gift. In fact, I think it was a gift. So thank you. We exchanged games back and forth so much, and I can never remember what happened. But anyway, he got it in my little hands. So everyone knows so instead of like the geomorphic maps that most of the ASL scenarios use, especially starter kit, it's an actual historical map of the lay of the land around Elst and the Market Garden campaign. and I played Ambush at the Hope, that very one right there. And so I played it twice, and this leads to my second thing I spent time on. I just knew I was playing a lot of stuff wrong because it's armor and there's a lot there, even in starter kit. So I started reading Rich Fam is his BGG name. It's a Jay Richardson's tutorial he made up for 156-page tutorial for starter kit 1 through 3.
Oof.
And he just goes, it's one of those, you just kind of go step by step. You put the thing, and here's how you do it. It's just it just takes up so much room. If someone was talking through it, it wouldn't take that long, but it's just when you're trying to write it out. So I started videoing those and reading that because it's a free document. So I was just reading it out just because some people learn better listening auditorially. So the campaign game is, I haven't played it yet. So I did that, and it's hard for me to rate ASL. It's kind of like, I don't know, because, so I didn't really do a rating on it. I'll give it right now, I'd give it a 3. I'd punch and clip this game.
Well, and you're also, because we both holler back and forth, and for me, for one, I'm glad you're doing it. Yeah, I was a little uptight that you started else without me, but I get the picture now. You're trying to understand and learn the mechanics of the game so that maybe you can help me along with it.
Yeah, trying.
And that's good. I appreciate it. So, and if it's reading rules or reading tutorial instructions is what you got to do. Like, I haven't even gotten to this phase yet with vehicles and guns. I'm still working in ASL SK1 with ground troops and machine guns and stuff like that, sport weapons. God forbid they give me airplanes. Moving on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I did. Like I said, I'll give it a 3 right now. When reading through this tutorial, Jay Richardson commented on this as I'm reading through the tutorial. Occasionally, I'll just make these comments like, "Oh my gosh, what the heck?" Because there's so much detail in ASL. It's amazing. It's pretty amazing system. Even if you don't like the game, it's pretty amazing. So,
right.
Oh, there you go. I'm John. I'm glad I could help, and I'm serious. I'm glad I could help with that. He says he enjoyed the else videos. Just confirm my decision to never do ASL.
That's what I do every time they're talking about it.
You saved someone, Todd. You saved someone.
No, man, I'm telling you, lots of people's videos have helped with that. I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. So I like helping people make a decision either way. So, all right. So that's that. I'd give it a 3 right now.
All right. So we've hit on 2 3s. All right, Andrew, we're going to pull you up next. And
okay.
now, like I say, he's the one that's played quite a bit. So in between. So, and yeah, don't nobody freak out here if you hear a miniatures thing come up and you get a rating on a miniatures game, because these guys both do it. So
I didn't even know that was a thing.
We're gonna let him get into his first one here, and then I'll switch over to once he tells me what game it is.
We'll do Great Medieval Battles first. We'll go chronologically.
All right.
So I played. I got SPI's Great Medieval Battles 4-pack. And I really enjoyed it. Appearance and components. It's one of those older maps that's really clean and looks really good. Right? It's not a complicated map. They aren't complicated maps to look at. It's easy to see what terrain you're on and what terrain you're going into, but at the same time, it's still real good looking. So that's definitely a mark in a positive. And then rulebook, it's, again, like a lot of games that I enjoy, there are series rules for Great Medieval Battles, and then there are individual scenario or game rules for each of those 4 games. So I played the Black Prince game, the Battle of Navarrete, I think 1367. Yeah, which is nice. Again, I like when I can get some series rules and then play a bunch of games off of that.
Amen, brother.
Yeah, so that's, again, high marks. Sequence of play and mechanics. Once it got rolling, it was fantastic. There's a kind of, instead of having a CRT where you total up strength, there's a chart that has the different troop types on it and then what their combat value against each other are, which is kind of cool. But it's easy to understand. It's not tough at all to get into or to kind of get a hold of what you're doing and what you're looking for. So high marks. Big fan. Very much enjoyed that too. It made it really quick because when you have kind of the same, one side with a good number of units of the same type, and then the other side, at first it's a minute because you're checking the unit, and then you get morale and stuff, but it really does. Once you get into the rhythm, you can just fly straight through it.
Well, there's another thing right there, like that map. I don't know if I'm right or not, but I want to say this left when SPI left the scene is the deployments listed on the maps.
I love that.
Yeah. I remember the quad battles, Napoleon's last battles from SPI doing that.
Yep. I was about to say, I know like Blue and the Gray does that. Some of the Decision Games Folio series do it, but I think those are SPI based, or didn't Decision carry on with SPI products when they finished up?
I don't think I have any Decision games that were. I have Wacht am Rhein, but Wacht am Rhein was a monster. I don't think I have any of the smaller Decision games.
Well, Blue and the Gray, that whole box set was SPI, and now Decision makes it.
Right.
I don't know if any of the folio games are like that, but my point is that, yes, I'm a big fan of that. And that shortens the rule book. It reduces the number of stuff you got to read to try and figure out what's going on. Yeah.
Was that the one you played right there, Black Prince? Did you play that?
Yes.
What was your outcome in that?
The English won. Basically, you've got the English versus essentially the French, I believe, and the English have better morale and heavier troops and the high ground. So I was able to keep my flank secure as the English, which didn't allow the French to move around. It was a grind, don't get me wrong, but the English did eventually prevail. I think, Todd, aren't those videos on your channel?
Yes. We did put them on there. They should have been on Jeff's, but we put them on mine because I think Jeff was out or something. So.
Jeff was busy, yeah. So, but yeah, good game. Replayability or solo? Solo, very high. It's not hard to play both sides by yourself. Replayability, there's not a lot of random stuff in there other than just your die rolling. And with those deployments listed on the board, how it is, you kind of start in the same position. So if you have an idea of, okay, here's what the best thing is in this position for me to do, then it can kind of reduce a little bit of that replayability. Oh, go back one picture there. That goes back to components. It's cool. I enjoyed that they've got these double wide guys to double wide counters, to represent lines of troops. That's cool. I really like that.
Yeah, I do like it when a game has those kind of extra wide, especially this kind of era. A lot of them do. It's not unusual, but I think it's cool.
Yeah. And then scale, I liked it. It is a game where each scenario specifies kind of what the scale for the hexes and the counters are. So it works well. Big fan of that one. That one certainly gets 3, if not 4 Spangle helms. After that, I played Lettow-Vorbeck.
Hold on real quick. Hold on. I'm going to interrupt you real quick. Stigler talked about that Simonson. You can't do better. He was the master. Amazing how old SPI games can still hang with the latest releases 40 years later. 30 years
right?
war. 30 years war also put deployments on the map. And Ulan says Nappy's last battles did that. I hated it.
Yeah.
And Charles wished he still had it. Okay.
That's what you and I talked about, WarDRobe, was it sucks because I find these games and these series that I really like, and they're out of production, and they have been for most of my life.
Yeah, this game's older than you, so.
Yes, but still a very good game.
It's cool is you've got 4 in that box, so when you get the urge.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's 1 or 2 that aren't included. But yeah, in this box, there's 3 that are historical, and then 1, which was the one that had that causeway and the circle of stones. That's a King Arthur type thing. So that ought to be cool to play around with.
Well, there's something different there. You get, I mean, which we will probably get into some of this in 2 weeks, but you get a game that gives you historical engagements, and then out of the blue they throw in one there that didn't happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Yes. And I'm excited to play the rest of those. That was one that, again, I think we talked about this on the video on WarDRobe's channel, where it's one that I had to kind of consciously say, okay, stop. I'm going to stop playing this right now because I want to come back and enjoy these fresh, as opposed to playing through 2 or 3 of them in a night.
Because you can do it. Andrew's the one that can do it. So
yes, it's fantastic. That's certainly a game that I could have sat there and played for 8 hours and played 2 or 3 scenarios and had a great time. But yeah, next one, Mr. Hex to Hex is Lettow-Vorbeck, the mini folio game by decision.
Nope, we're going to stop with you. We'll come back to you.
Okay,
so
sorry.
Let's go back to Todd. I want to catch up on comments real quick while I get to the next one.
I've pretty much caught them on. We're caught up on them.
All right, so
I wish you still had it too. Right, same Stigler. That would be super funny. I don't know that there's really a Crusade game in here. Like there's Tamerlane, but that's not traditional early Crusades. There is. When I do Robert at Bannockburn, I might have to fart around with a kilt and all that nonsense, but I'm not sure. This would be an ideal game for, like the Horns of Hatton or something like that, or other battles in that Crusader era. Oh yeah, Reese, I need to send you a picture of Reggie. I have them, so I'll send those. I'll send one or two to you.
A turkey picture to make his turkeys jealous. So
yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go over a quick one here because there's nothing for me to put up on screen unless you go watch my videos. But we all know what my favorite era is, and we know what my favorite game system is. So I did finish up, and I didn't. It's funny, I didn't make the notes to myself that I needed to make, but I did finish up playing another play test of a scenario in the Wilderness Great Battles of the American Civil War game that will hopefully be released this year. I mean, I don't know. I don't see why it wouldn't. I know the guys are working hard on that thing, but I played a 4 or 6 turn scenario that was a grind. And I'm telling you, any fighting in the wilderness, these guys are getting it right in this box. I'm gonna tell you right now. So, but Hexy, GBACW is going to get a 5, right? That I would take that game home to meet mom, okay? And I think all GBACW games are completely soloable. They're completely replayable. The sequence of play and the mechanics are awesome. I mean, while the guys are refining them a little bit at a time here. Matter of fact, they just dropped, those of you that do dabble in it, they just dropped the 2023 rule book, the living rules. I haven't popped it out myself and took a look to see how much has changed, but that's one of those 2 or 3 series or systems that I want to master because I love GBACW, and I'm sitting, look, the whole collection sitting over there behind me, and I need to get more and more in there. Right now, though, Hexy's on an OCS kick, so because I'm trying to master that system too. But GBACW, doesn't matter what game you give me, it's fine. Stigler, they need to hurry up and print yours because I'd like to see that. All right. But that would be my next one. I finished playing that scenario, which turned out to be, I didn't even write that down, but I want to say it was a Confederate. Oh, yeah, it was Confederate victory because the whole system was whether or not Gordon was going to be able to shift troops to the right and then to the left, and then ended up having not to do that. So they held their ground in the breastworks and in the woods. So, all right, so GBACW, the battle of the wilderness. Can't tell you the title yet. I don't think I'm allowed to do that yet. So, but that phenomenal system. And if you can handle something that takes, you play big games, they're going to take time. And we were talking about this earlier this week. Matter of fact, I posed a question out to Todd and Andrew about why do we buy these big, huge games to just play scenarios? And it wasn't a joke question. It was them. I wanted to hear, because I know these two. McMurray they both played a big, large campaign game here recently, but for the most part, one mapper scenarios, small footprint stuff, and that's what they do. And I understand their reasons why. Now, I'm kind of making a sort of a choice here that, and I told Todd the other night that screw this, I'm going to play my big games. You know, if it takes me 6 months to play them, oh well, that's the way it goes. I got another table that I can put a one map game on and go play it. Put up a squad leader game or something like that. Even some of the monster games that I would put on this table here might be two mappers. I still have room to put 2 more maps on the table. So I'm going to do it. I'm OCSing right now. That's where I'm staying. All right. But GBACW is a 5. If you've not tried it, get it, play it. They have scenarios in there that are easy to play. And they always have a great, great primer scenario in each one of the games. And if you really are interested in the game, but you're scared, hang in there. Because old Stiggy's game is going to get eventually printed and sent. And he's designed those, from what I'm understanding, and you all can query him, to help the new gamer get into the system on a smaller footprint battles. So we
get into GBACW?
Yeah.
Okay.
His new game that's going to be released, it's already on P500, is going to be well. And I want it for the battles. So
what game is it?
Bayonets and what was it? He listed up top there.
Yeah, check his comments. He talked about it. So you see, that's another game you started and finished there. I remember you kind of cranked through those play tests pretty good. So yeah, I mean, you can go ahead and schedule that show where we talk about the large campaigns versus small scenarios. I think we got a whole show worth of that, don't we?
We certainly do.
Yeah.
All right, so let me read some of the comments in between before I go. So Stigler said, consider Men of Iron. I think you have that, don't you, McMurray?
I do.
Tri-pack.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, and those tri-packs are amazing deals for Men of Iron, Battles of American Revolution. I don't know what else they have them on, but they're incredible deals. So if you see that come up for GMT and you're interested in the era at all, I would.
They need to do a Flying Colors tri-pack, but yeah.
Yeah.
They don't. I mean, I already have all of them, but
that's another one for you to play. Is that on your goals this year or no?
It is. I've played Flying Colors. I love playing Flying Colors.
Yeah.
Right.
Stigler says, no, don't look for Wilderness this year. It's progressing, but there's a lot of scenarios that need vetting. Tony says, what about Blind Swords, Hexy?
Oh, yeah. So, and I had Tony, much other than the last one. Oh, no, I think I did get the last one. Yeah, my girls bought that for me. Great system. You want introductory Civil War? There you go. If you can't get somebody, like I still say, if you want to go back in time and you can get your hands on Blue and Gray from SPI, there you go. That's perfect entry. Okay.
I have it right here.
Yeah, and
it's awesome.
Yeah, he does. But if not, you need something current. Then Blind Swords, marvelous. And I understand their new system, the what's it called? The new one they just did with Champions Hill. That's even lighter from what I understand. So
yeah, McMurray needs to try a couple of those. That'd be interesting to see what he thinks of Blind Sword.
I think he'd love it because he loved A5A.
And those maps are the direct barber maps are incredible.
Against 5 Aprils was awesome.
Yeah.
So Stigler says he's got to print out the 2023 rules now. Okay. Oh, Wise Guy's on with us here. Nathan, nice seeing you, man. Oh, Nathan, you'll be interested in my next thing I'm bringing up because you kind of helped me with that. Let's see. Camp Sawyer says thanks for the vids on the Wilderness. Looks great.
He's got some good stuff. Sawyer's got some good stuff. Check his channel out, guys. Camp Sawyer.
Stigler talks about how well received some of the small scenarios were in Woods. Another great NCO loss to OCS. Reese Crawford. Sorry, I'm just kind of taking a minute to read these. Comes at an expensive full shallow battle. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Buy swords and buy bayonets is his system.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark and Stigler, for answering that. The 4 battles will be Big Bethel, Mill Springs, New Bern, and Rappahannock Station 63. Close action flying colors is too cartoony for this old sod. Oh boy.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I like playing it. It's no problem playing it.
All right. So my next game, and I say Nathan because he actually walked me through a scenario, and I kind of not because of Nathan's play. Trust me, that guy knows his games. But GTS. So I'm playing in that large campaign, just trying to get as far as we can in it. So I got that small group of gamers coming here in St. Louis in April. And I think there are going to be 5 or 6 large games played. We play for the same game for 5 days. And my particular group that's playing, let's see how many guys are there. I think there's 3, and so there's 6, I think, are playing GTS The Greatest Day. We're playing basically the campaign game, but we know we're not going to get, that far through it. We're trying to get, so what we're trying to do is on Vassal, we're trying to get through day 1. So we get through all the landings, all the naval chits, all that stuff. The greatest day, just in case you don't know, it's the gold sword note. It's the Commonwealth beaches, and Utah. So anyway, so it's just the Commonwealth beaches. There's 3 playing the British and 3 playing. I feel like I'm missing somebody, and 3 playing the Germans. I'm playing. I think gold is over on the west, on the left from the German perspective, and I'm playing the 352nd Infantry Division, and I'm against Rich, who I believe is playing the 50th, playing those guys right there, Tines and T's. And then we kind of just go down the line. We have so Mitch Land, who is designer and developer for Next War series, is on the game, as well as Tony. Actually, oh, thanks. It is 7 guys. I thought it was 4 Commonwealth. Okay, thanks, Tony. And so Tony's playing. Which side are you playing, Tony? I mean, not which side, but which division? So basically, each of us has a division for the most part. Mitch has the airborne. And then Tony, and then someone else. Oh gosh, my brain's. Ty. So Ty, who is working on that magazine, he's got a lot of videos on GTS. Ty Snowfer is also working on that magazine that's coming out probably this year for GTS. So we have 2. I don't know, Tony. I don't know how knowledgeable you are. You seem like you got a lot of the things figured out, but definitely Mitch and Ty seem to know they know the rules very well. So
Tony gets 21st Panzer. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he just had a ton of stuff come on too. He just brought him on. So anyway, sorry guys, that's a long explanation there. But so I have played this 2 or 3 times. So Nathan, he and I played one of the small scenarios just so he could kind of walk me through a couple things, and I was just like, I was pretty overwhelmed by it. I mean, it's just like there's the decision cycle in there. I don't know if that's the right word, is very deep. I mean, not only are there some just terminology to learn and just things like that, but once you start to learn those, like, oh gosh, man, I could do this or that, or I could do this. And then I need to plan 2 turns ahead because I want to put this in the artillery part. And which is cool. That's a sign of a good game, because, when you're kind of at this level planning military operations, you got a lot to think about. So it's pretty cool. It's very well detailed system. Everything's a company for the most part, which is kind of a cool scale. You don't see that often. They're humongous games. I mean, that's why it's cool. They're coming out with this magazine. It's going to be a game in there. It's 1 mapper. I mean, it's not good anyway. So that's really cool. I hope it does well for the
What's
system.
the title of that one again? The magazine one.
Someone will have to tell us that. I'm sure Tony or Nathan probably know that. I don't. It's on pre-order right now on M&P. Yeah, that's a great. I love the research done in the book with those drawings of the vehicle. So anyway, so basically, I'm not finished with the game yet. Like I said, I think we're trying to get through day 1, and then what we'll do when we get together in April, we'll have noted all of our positions in Vassal, and then we'll meet together and just play 4 or 5 days straight, trying to kick each other's butts.
That's gorgeous. I mean, I like the map. Let me ask you a question, because okay, so I've got 1, 2. I think I have 3 of them, 2 or 3 of them sitting over here.
Yep.
Grant, I don't know whenever I'm going to get to it. I'll wait till you're completely a master of it, and then you.
Okay.
The maps are, they're freaking amazing.
No, I love the maps. Look at that.
I don't like the counters.
Oh, really?
I
like the counters.
Maybe I just haven't looked at them long enough.
There's a lot of information on. They're like an ASL counter in that way. There's just a lot. I mean, there's a lot going on there. But it's cool. I mean, I've kind of already figured out what everything is for the most part. I get some things mixed up, but yeah, I don't know. I loved having the commanders' pictures on there. I think that's cool.
Right. Right.
No, the maps are, I mean, like, I would love to just get the Market Garden ones almost just for the maps themselves. They look gorgeous set out. So I can't wait to see it set up in person. That'll be cool. I'll be definitely shooting some video and taking pictures of that. I'm sure Tony will too.
Yeah. Strike, counter-strike.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's great. So there's some good stuff there. I'm starting to enjoy it a little bit more. And like I asked Mitch or somebody, I was like, how do you get, I mean, Mitch is a brainiac. He's ridiculous. Tony's played him in many times and lost to Mitch many times, I believe. That's nothing against you, Tony. Mitch is just one of those players that gets games. It's like, doggone it. I got another friend like that. It's crazy. So what am I trying to say? I'm really going on a long time here. I'm starting to enjoy it more. And I think it's just the repetition. So like if Nathan and I had continued going, this game just requires a lot. You just got to go through the cycles a bunch and like, okay, now I understand what that's about and how to use that function. And I'm speaking in generalities because I don't know it well enough. So I'm not going to give it a rating yet. I mean,
yeah. Well,
yeah.
I mean, I'm the same way. I find that the more I learn about the mechanics of a game and understand how they work, the more fun I have with the game.
Well,
question for Stigler here. Stigler, does all that stacking right there make this game more vassal friendly?
Well, I'll tell you what, this game is great in Vassal because there's a lot of things like the combat, modifiers and and you can find your formations because it's chit draw. So you find like the 21st Division goes, and as soon as you draw that chit, all of Tony's 21st Division pulls up yellow. So there's a big yellow outline on the thing so he can see everything. There's also these little menus that he could also look up, like, because it's a big map and you're like, especially the Germans, like some of my stuff, they're spread way out, right? So you're like, did I get everything? And on Vassal, it's hard to kind of get an overall picture. So there's gonna be some things when we get in person, I'm like, where's my yellow box so I see all my pieces? and then when you play it, it turns green or something. So so Tony goes like, okay, I've played that already. So and that's another thing. Sequencing is important too, like the order you do things. So like Tony wants to move a tank and an infantry unit. He has to think through like, okay, what do I need to happen? Do I need to shoot that? I don't know. It's really cool. So,
well, it's cool that you're tackling this. I mean, and I hope to God, one of you CCers that's going to be there in St. Louis, get some freaking, please get done. I know you will. I know Tony will at least get some pictures to post about it, the play and stuff. I'm sure you will, but man, some video, like if you're not doing your turn, either one of you, and somebody else is doing something, shoot a little video of somebody doing something in this game, because that's what I never really get to see.
Yeah, that's cool. Yep, we'll do it. One of us will do it for sure. I definitely will. So that's it on that. Let me kind of run through the comments here. So Tony's given us some good information about it, like 7 guys, blah, 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 who's playing what. So the name of the game in the magazine is Strike Counter-Strike, 4th Armored Division versus Panzerlehr along the Saar. So that's cool. Thank you, Tony. Meandering Mike's on with us. Hello, sir. Yeah, you can't knock over the huge stacks in Vassal. That's more an OCS thing right now. Fortunately, well, except for the beach landing, I'm having some challenges with Vassal on my computer right now, but my stacks are small because I have like 1 unit. Okay.
You're playing the 352nd Static Division then, aren't you?
Yeah, they're pretty static because there's nothing there. Yeah, exactly. You Stigler. Actually, we got Stigler Nuon on here. Look, can I mention? Can I do a little troubleshooting here online with everyone else watching?
I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to. That's a $50 an hour charge. So
Stigler, send the bill to Hex. Yuhan, same. Hey, so I'm running a MacBook. Whatever, make fun of Tony's gonna make fun of me for that. So I'm running a MacBook, and Vassal works great on it. But I got a 32-inch HP monitor connected. All right, so here's the deal. I'm running Greatest Day on my laptop screen. I can do exactly what you said, Stigler. Hover over it, shows all the counters in it, what the hex number is, the weather, whatever. And that works with every module, not just the Greatest Day, every module I have. I drag it over to my HP monitor, which works with every other module I have, still shows all the counters. With the Greatest Day, when I hover over it, nothing. So I have to click on each counter to see what I've got in it, and that's a pain.
Wow.
So I'm just curious, if you guys run across, I've changed the resolution, I've deleted the modules, I've reloaded, done all that. If you guys know anything about that, I'd love to hear it. You can even email me or ituner@hobbyist@gmail.com if you want, or we can talk another time if you know some solutions. That's it, Guy. McMurray's next.
All right, Andrew, what was the one you said?
That would be Lettow-Vorbeck by Decision Games. Mini Folio series.
I think I can spell that.
Yeah, so you have to spell that for
Lettow.
DT, I thought it was DD.
Lettow.
I'm really, really, really interested in this one. So let me get this thing.
Yeah, embiggen yourself there.
There we go.
What era is this?
He harps about this
Oh,
environment all the time, and now he's finally got one. You
Oh,
got a
this-
couple of them now, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I've played a few miniature games. This is German East Africa, Toddy, 1914.
oh, that's right. Okay, I remember watching all this. Yep.
So yeah, Todd actually watched me play this game live. It's in terms of components and appearance, they're good looking components. They got little pictures of dudes on them or whatnot. No problem. The map is pretty simple. It's not too difficult to understand. You can see kind of what everything is. It's nothing's too crazy. The rule book, again, the rules here are made to be short and simple and unintimidating, I think would be the best way to put it to new gamers. So you've got series rules and then again, your game special rules. So not bad. I wish they'd expand some of these series, but yeah, this is, I think, their counterinsurgency series or whatever they call that.
That's the map right there. That's it.
It's purely a solo game.
Card-driven game.
What?
I said, just realized you played a point-to-point card-driven game.
Right. So that's the thing, right? It's a purely solo system, and the game is driven by the cards. So that's kind of cool. It does take a hot second to get used to. There's not, the rule books aren't thick, but for whatever reason, it took me a longer chunk of time to kind of get into the rhythm of playing this one than it did Great Medieval Battles. Still not bad. There's a lot of info on the map. Some stuff, as usual, with games where they try and make the rule book short, you have to kind of infer or whatnot. Not a big deal, though. Not bad. Replayability and solo play, again, it's designed for solo play, and they do a great job of that. In terms of replayability, again, the entire game is driven by cards that you pull randomly for each side. Actually, oh wait, I might be getting confused. This might not be a completely solo game.
Okay.
Anyways, point is, it's very easily playable as a completely solo game. How about that? It didn't feel like I was necessarily having to play both sides. You can certainly play either side. My bad. I was thinking of something else. But that should be a good indicator of how conducive it is to solo play.
How long did it take you to play this?
Enough said. Hour and a half, 2 hours, Todd. What do you think?
Yeah, something like that, probably.
And that included punching and clipping it.
Did you enjoy the results of the gameplay, or?
I did. It was actually, the game that I played was very close. And the Germans wound up winning it on the last turn.
Well, what's the base strategy in this thing? I mean,
the Germans need to survive. The British and their allies need to eliminate the Germans.
Okay. All right. Well, pretty simple. All right.
Yeah.
Would you rate this thing?
And then the scale, again, it's a good scale. It covers the entire conflict. I wish my favorite thing in this entire theater is the naval conflict that happened on Lake Tanganyika. I'm sad I couldn't play with that, but that's okay. It's understandable. This is a game I'd gladly take with me somewhere and play it. You know what I mean? So if I was
going, you drop it anywhere.
Yeah, it's a small footprint game. It's a small, simple game. It's physically small as well. Again, it's a mini folio. It's so small that I put it on the shelf somewhere to keep it safe, and it wasn't easily accessible to just grab. But no, very, very, very fun game. From the German perspective, I'd give it 4 beehives. From the British or Indian Expeditionary Force side, I'd give it a couple extra supply trains. Very good.
It looks like lightweight. It looks like you drop it anywhere and play it in just a matter of minutes almost. So
yeah, and it's quick to set up. There's not a whole lot of, obviously it's that big. There's only maybe a couple dozen counters on either side. So it's it's one of those games that's quick to play and not hard to understand, but it's not easy to kind of get a hold of and really run.
So what was your score on that 1 to 5?
So again, from the German side, I would give it either 4 Königsberg guns or 4 beehives.
Okay.
Which, look it up, Battle of the Beehives. Go figure it out.
Look it up.
And then from the Indian Expeditionary Force, or the British/Allied perspective, because there are also Belgians and Portuguese in this game. Well, maybe we'll give it 2 Jan Smuts. 3 or 4 Jan Smuts. Yeah.
Look it up.
It's a good game. I highly recommend it. Play it.
All right.
Get it. Play it. Outstanding.
Few comments.
We going back to you guys?
Oh yeah, a couple comments here. Just real quick. So I would have rated GTS. I would have rated a 2. And now I would rate it a 3. So it's slowly climbing up the thing. Let's see, Stigler, thanks for the comment on the Vassal thing. Meandering Mike says, very cool guerrilla campaign, World War I. Ulan says, what time is the next train? Meandering Mike, I have Lettow on my 10 games for 2023. And then we have Hopshed New Zealand saying, good day, y'all.
Hey,
howdy from down under.
So,
all right, so let's blow through one more each. I don't want to beat this one up too bad, but I'm going to cover it because I did finish it. Well, I think I had 4 or 5 turns left in it, so let me flippy dippy to that one. So Stiggy was kind enough to pass this game on to me.
Oh,
and
baby!
It was one of those. It's a monster game, semi-monster. It's big. It's big. 2 map, good footprint, good good clean map, and easy to understand. Interesting rule set. Untried units, much like those of you that have played, was it Panzer Group Guderian? Which I'd love to get my hands on that one too. But I never had this one. I was never able to get this one, or I always missed out on it earlier years ago when I was into gaming. But I got this out and I got it clipped as soon as I could. And somebody made a comment I know on Mo's show the other night about SPI counters just don't look good clipped. I got news for you. These counters looked marvelous when they were clipped. So. But I got this thing on the table. I played it. I did chuck out a couple rules, and I voiced it out in my video that we cut the phone lines to Hitler's Wolf's Den, Wolf's Lair, so that he wasn't telling us what to do. And I tried to just go after victory points. Ended up with the Germans actually backdooring Stalingrad because I was too stupid to pay attention to placing troops in a specific location. But this is a monster game. And I'm going to say this in comparison to you guys when you played It Never Snows. The rule set is not complicated in this game. And it was a blast to play this thing. It flowed pretty smooth, trying to meet some of the requirements of the forces and how they needed to be deployed, how they needed to operate, how they needed to maintain continuity. You're playing a breakout game. It was tough to do. Eventually, somewhere along the line during the fight, I did get that continuity in the lines to an extent. You only had to keep that continuity on the northern map. The southern map, you didn't have to do it. And it was because of that non-continuity thing on the southern map that I was able to move 3 Panzer divisions around the back end of the Soviets, overrun some stuff, and end up in Stalingrad drinking tea with Uncle Joe. So this was the SPI 1977 version. Stig, man, I sure do appreciate you sending me this and giving me a chance to play this game. You know, it's funny because I have quite a few SPIs. We all know the Terrible Swiss Sword was my gateway to gaming many, many years ago when I was a teen. And I don't think with anything that I've gotten recently as far as SPI or over the last 2 years that I've parted with any of them, unless I had an extra one, maybe send it to somebody. But if you guys have this one hiding in the basement somewhere, pull this thing out and play this thing, because I'm going to tell you, if you haven't played it, you're missing a great, great, great quality game that's easy to play. So Drive on Stalingrad SPI, and like it or not, this thing gets a 5 from me. Wished I had 2 copies. All right.
Oh,
now,
dang.
I did just take a look at the Decision Games version of the maps, and I'm glad I did, because I thought about going out there and trying to get that. Not a chance. well, I'm not going to waste my money on that one. Maybe the TSR one I would consider that, but there you go. Drive on Stalingrad, SPI. It gets a 5 from me. Great system.
So I was looking at it, and it looks like there's those TSR boxes, man. I do and don't like those TSR boxes, but because I owned one when I owned a TSR game when I was a kid, and I cannot figure out which one it was. So did they change the game at all on that TSR version?
Stig would probably be the one to answer. I mean, we know that trying to see if I can't find one here. The maps, TSR did their own things to the maps.
Okay. Let me read a couple of comments real quick. We have to talk about this because, Stig's getting a little bit of a hard time here. Meandering Mike, did Stigler clip it for you first? ? Winky. Stigler says no caps. Hexy defaced it. LOL. Hopshed New Zealand says those DOS counters look mint clip. Now I want it. Hopshed, I did look it up. There are some for sale now. I don't know that going out to New Zealand, probably be $400 to ship it to you, but the prices are pretty good on it. Actually, 40. It's very tempting. Glad I found a good home. Excalibur Games also reprinted it. That's interesting. E4 Airman enjoyed your playthrough of it. Charles has not played this since last century. And leave it to a derision to F up an old SPI classic.
I think that's Decision, but yeah.
Oh, Decision. Sorry.
Yeah. No, he calls it derision.
Oh, that was intentional? Oh, okay.
Well, wait a minute. Wait, did Decision also redo it?
Yeah.
So
well, remember, Decision swallowed up all the SPI titles.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier with Blue and the Gray and everything.
Well, I know, but I just thought Excalibur, TSR, and SPI did it. So Decision also redid it?
Yeah.
Dang. But anyway, so are any of the other versions good? Because there are some other being sold there, and is the
TSR? I think TSR is the same. I think it's the same gameplay or same rule set. It's just, I don't think when TSR ate this stuff up, I don't think they made like a butt ton of modifiers. But Decision Games, from what I understand, really Decision Games. I know that they damaged a few of the SPI games. I don't know how many because I didn't play that many Decision Games, but I do have a couple that came out of the magazine that Decision Games has that I thought were really fun games and really well thought out games. Like that Curse Squad I played, I thought was really cool. But from what a lot of people don't like what Decision did to SPI.
Okay.
I still have a great time with Blue and the Gray. I'm a fan.
Right.
I'm a fan.
I'm sorry.
Toddy, you got a third one?
What scale is all this?
Oh, come on.
Come on, man.
It's mostly division stuff, so.
Okay, Excalibur was 100% reprint. TSR maps awful pink. The Pepto-Bismol nightmare. Okay, so my game, I don't really have a war game. Why don't you do yours, Andrew? Then I can just talk. My other stuff is just kind of filling what I did with the time. So
okay. My last one, as most of you guys probably can assume if you've been watching anything, is the Russian campaign by Avalon Hill, the second printing.
Second edition, yeah.
So yeah, there have been a couple things that I goofed up on my playthrough, which that's fair. The two that matter were that Stalin can apparently move by rail, and
so he can leave.
Yes, and I forgot that the German first winter supply changes, so I was keeping them in supply off of the Army Group headquarters, not immediately adjacent to German occupied city hexes. So there's that disclaimer. My bad. Fully admit I screwed that up. That's on me. That being said, still had a great time playing it. Very good time playing it. In terms of appearance and components, good, right? Again, map is simple, easy to read. Same with the components. They're a little fiddly just because they're 1970 printings. So, some stuff's it's not the clearest of printings. Everything's a little off center, what have you. It's not bad. There were spare counters in there, which is good because I had to replace a couple. Rulebook, it's a standard old Avalon Hill rulebook, and I love it. Right? It's got that double-edged sword of every single word is relevant to the rules, which is nice because there's not a whole lot of filler. But again, if you miss a couple of words, it can really screw you up. Sequence of play mechanics, again, same thing that I was talking about with Great Medieval Battles. Once you get into it, you're just rolling. So that's a good thing. You've got a really simple, easy to understand CRT, really simple, easy to understand terrain effects. The reference sheets and stuff, the play aids were not quite as great in this as they are in some other Avalon Hill games. The Order of Arrival and Order battle sheets were great, but the charts were a little screwy. They were, it seems like they could have put most of those charts either on the map in dead space or in one page. The other thing that frustrates me about some of these old Avalon Hill games is that on the map, the text points in so many different directions. It's insane. But anyway,
Russian OB chart.
It's fine. Yeah, it happens. The German one's like a weird off. Yeah. It's fine. They work fine. They work great, actually. I really like them. Where was I? Replayability and solo ability. There's just so much opportunity in this. The game is big enough that you can do anything in it, as well as with the weather effects. They really affect gameplay. So you're not going to get the same game if you play multiple times. I got really lucky in my playthrough the first time for the Germans in that the first 4 turns, so through until January of 1942, the weather stayed clear, which allowed the Germans to just absolutely run amok.
Sorry, the ad.
Yeah, look at that.
And then the RC. That's funny. Me and my RC. That's funny.
I'm going to say that 1976, that's the edition I've got. So yeah, there's a lot of solo. I feel like there's a lot of solo replayability, just because of those options, as well as the scope is large enough and the game is big enough with enough counters that you can really drastically change how you play.
Well, you played through this, and I remember a long time ago playing this, and of course my favorite one was the Russian Front. But this is kind of a little mini monster in itself that just plays well.
It does. It plays really well.
So Brian, I'm glad. Brian, thanks for joining us. Steve Mull's joined us as well. It's cool. Thanks for seeing you guys.
Oh, outstanding.
Steve and I should be playing a game here someday this year. Brian asked a good question. I think it's a good question, especially since 2 versions of this came out this year. And I think he's talking about Russian campaign. What's the big hook on this game? Something special in the mechanics. Brian, I sure hope you're talking about this and not the prior one that was just reviewed, but quickly answer if it's different. But I guess let's pick up. Why is the Russian campaign still getting printed, and why is it stood the test of time?
Yeah, great question.
I think it's one of those, at least for me, it seems like one of those Goldilocks things, right?
Oh,
it's not too simple. It's not Stalingrad. Stalingrad is super simple, very fun to play, but it also only really goes through like 1942 or 3. But at the same time, it's not really complicated. It's certainly towards the lighter end of things, so you can sit down and play through a good chunk of it relatively quickly. So it's not too complicated, not too slim. It's not the best looking game ever that's going to cost a whole bunch and take forever, and the map's going to be overcomplicated and kind of give you a headache when you look at it. But at the same time, it's not a shitty little map that's just kind of like colored in hexes. The game board is large, but it's not, huge. It's essentially just a one mapper. So again, I think it's a combination of different factors that all kind of come out to just right.
Yeah, and you guys need to understand too that, and this is what we love about Andrew the most, is when he plays one of these games, he's not, Todd and I will sit and we'll brain beat ourselves about, oh God, do I want to go here? Do I want to go there? Andrew gets after it. I mean, he plays a lot of these games the way they were meant to play, and this fits so perfect with us because he'll grab these things and he'll be sitting there clipping the game, and we're all chit chatting, and about midnight or 12:31 in the morning, we go to bed. When we wake up, he's played a full game, and a lot of stuff that we do. So
the idea is that I'm trying to play as if there was another person here, right? So like Does that make sense? So I'm trying to keep it moving. Usually, I usually can't get done in the what Avalon Hill defines as the recommended amount of time. Usually, it still takes me longer than that. But yeah, I think the first time I played Bastogne by MMP, I was like 4 times what the recommended play time was or something, and I just said, okay, well, maybe I'm playing this too slow. And I'm overthinking this. And yeah, for me, it's fun when I'm just going, okay, no, here's what we're doing. We're going here. We're doing this, not going crazy.
Yeah.
After we're done talking about this, Brian was talking about Drive on Stalingrad. So
yeah, I'm still. He was asking about what the knock on that game was, and I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me what rule was the knock on that game because I didn't see it.
Oh, okay.
The knock on the game.
Yeah, there was a lot of. I got a lot of people talking about. It was a great game, but like one rule just screwed it up.
Oh, but he was. Oh, I thought he was asking like, what's the big hook on this game? Something special in the mechanics.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it. Special mechanics. Well, first off, the untried units. That's that fog of war right there is the best thing. The 2 movement phases. In each game, kind of like OCS has exploitation, or they have reaction and stuff like that. They had 2 movement phases. Supply simple, air simple, combat pretty simple. So I mean, it was. I think that if I'd say the best hooks for that game were the untried units and just the flow of the gameplay.
Yeah. So. Okay. Cool.
All right, Andrew. What was this? What'd you rate this thing?
Scale, I gave it pretty solid. It encompasses the entire Eastern Front. Each chit is essentially a German corps-sized unit. So the Soviets have some army groups, but they're usually just kind of the same size as a large German corps. This thing I would pass on to my kids and grandkids.
Yeah. I think you got it where you nailed it, where it's the reason it stood the test of time because it's simple enough. So it's kind of like chess in a way, in that the rules aren't that complicated, but there's just a lot you can do and try different attacks and all this stuff. And I don't know, that's just it's a nice.
There's enough there that you're not going to get bored replaying it, but at the same time, you're going to be able to get through each game you start because it's not too ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's cool, like what Russia Besieged and L2 did, and added all this chrome, and that's cool because you can. But then it's also kind of like you don't see those games played as often as Russian Campaign.
Well, I'm curious too. The Compass Games version they're showing here, which is they're saying it's from the original. I don't have it. If any of y'all got it out there, is it an exact recreation of the original Russian Campaign?
Well, I mean, the map is updated, and the counters are updated, but yeah, it's exact. It's like 8 pages of rules, 12 pages of rules. It's like, I think it's even more. Yeah, it's probably the closest to what Andrew played, because I think GMT adds a couple of little things. It was kind of hard to keep it all straight.
Right. All right. Well, hey,
that's cool. Stigler answered that on Drive on Stalingrad thing. So, yeah, the rest of my stuff's just kind of filling in what I did.
Yeah. Let's get after that. Let's. What have you done? Because you've been a busy boy lately.
So, so the reason my gaming is kind of stalled a little bit is I got a new job at my work, and not a new company, but I'm creating a podcast now, and it's really something and some other things, but that's my main effort. So I'm using a lot more, and I'm enjoying my work for the first time in many years. So, and I'm using a lot of my creative juices and all this stuff at work. And so when I come home, I am kind of blasted mentally. So, which is, I mean, it's kind of a good thing. If I'm going to be at work for 8 to 10 hours a day, I need it to be fulfilling, and it is right now. So that's good. It just means gaming time is one reason. I've done that Fast Drive Football, which is a free football game that's out there, and I like setting up a league and kind of playing through seasons and all that stuff. It's just a dice chucker. It's like the Hunters. So the Hunters is just really a dice rolling storytelling game, really. I mean, there's some decisions to make, but there's a lot of decisions in Hunters versus this football. I've been doing that. I've been playing the Dragonlance campaign of D&D that my friend's been putting on. We celebrated our first year this year, this month in February. So that's cool. Got 3 or 4 sessions in since last time we talked. Worked a little bit on that rules project I'm working on. And I've finished 3 books Red Country and Half King by Joe Abercrombie, amazing author, and Taking a Tank into Normandy by Stuart Hill, which covers Gold Beach, which is kind of cool. And so it got me to get James Holland's Brothers in Arms about the yeah, boy, it's not about the 50th Infantry Division, but the tank division that goes in there, the Sherwood Rangers. So that book, I'm gonna have to buy that book and get audio version of it so I can get through it. It's a thick book. Great author. That's it. I'm done. Goodbye. Next.
Andrew, what do you get ready to throw up on the table?
So I'm thinking about that. I kind of ditched the tack up thing, so which is nice because it means I can kind of go wherever I want to. I'm still going to play Sovereign of the Seas. I don't know if that's going to be the next thing I put on the table. It's a 2-mapper. There's a ton of counters because you're covering the entirety of naval warfare for about 80 years, from about 1750 until the end of the Age of Sail. So that's going to take a while. Victory in the Pacific is the same way. It's not necessarily a huge map game, but it's a lot of counters in that system. You know what I mean? It's the entire. If it's a capital ship of heavy cruiser grade or above in the Pacific during World War II, it's in Victory in the Pacific. So there's a fair amount of stuff going on there. So those two are definitely going to come up. I don't know if those are going to get put onto the table right away. Blue and the Gray keeps looking at me from over here, and I really like Blue and the Gray.
Of course it does.
I really like Blue and the Gray. I've been also thinking about just taking against 5 or across 5 April's out again because that game is so much fun. But then also I've got Trireme. I don't know if Trireme's going to come out. I did just pick up Yakinto's Battle, which is supposed to be super simple and you can play anything with it. So that might be interesting to play. I don't know. It was $15.
Like Charles, you two are good at finding these oddball older games that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it was $15 at my local game store. I like to support them, and it was there. And I said, you know what, we're going to give it a shot, see what it's like. If I like it, I like it. If I don't like it, it's $15 out, and I can pass it on to somebody or whatever. But it's
to have Yaquinto's French Foreign Legion one. Now, wait, that battle game you got, is that the one in the fold-out box?
Yeah, it's one of the album games.
I love that stuff.
Yeah. They have Apache Wars up there too, and I might pick that one up. I don't know. I think that's the same-esque sort of thing as or the same sort of feel series, what have you, as that French Foreign Legion game. But
he knows that, Jerry. He knows about those. And every chance I get, I try to tell everybody, get over to Warren Games and take a look at his. I tell you, if you want free ACW Vassal games, you can even print and play them if you want. He makes them. And speaking of which, give us an update on your, was it the 7 days thing you were working on? Have you hesitated on that, or did you move along any further with that one? So these are great. That's good stuff. He's got awesome maps, and the counters are clean over there, and he does the Vassal mods for him. So if you want some Civil War stuff that's free, it's not an overly complicated system. It's got some good detail to it. Take a look at it. Especially if you have free Vassal mods, and you don't have to open the game. That's great.
Well, yeah, those are the ones that I'm kind of looking at. I think if I had to choose between, I might throw Battle on the table just to see how it goes. But at the same time, I have SPI's Dreadnought sitting over there, and I don't know how close that is to the Decision Games mini folio games for River Plate and Denmark Strait, and then Cornell and the Falklands. But those two were outstanding. I played one out of each of those. I think it's Broadsides and Battle Wagons might be the system. I don't remember exactly. I was just sad that they only made 2 out of the system. They both were put out in 2018, which leads me to think that they probably aren't going to put any other ones out.
Right.
But so, yeah, probably, if I'm being real honest, the next game to go on the table is probably going to be Battle or something else small. I got a little under a month left in this painting challenge I'm doing, so I want to finish strong with that, and then we'll see. I mean, obviously, I played 3 games in the middle of it already, but I'm sure towards the end of March, you'll see me jumping back in pretty quick and heavy.
Right. What about mini stuff? You got any mini games going on here soon?
Oh yeah, I mean,
no, I don't want to hear about MTV. We hear enough of that. I want to hear about
what?
MTV.
National Tire and Battery?
MTV in March.
Oh, no. But
what do you got? Do you have any local stuff that's getting ready? You're going to do on the table?
I played Cruel Seas today with guys locally here. That was pretty
Right.
cool. It's a really modified Cruel Seas, so it's not really Cruel Seas, but it was 1/300 scale coastal World War II. That was cool. I will be playing some Spanish American War Naval. That's pretty cool. I got some 1 to 1200 stuff here. There's USS Brooklyn. And then I've got some 1 to 600 stuff that Todd and I will hopefully be playing as well. That'll be played on a big open space in a room. And each of the ships is on a raised platform that'll sit just over, like right between 3 and 4 feet off the ground. Well, that'll be cool. Each of those boats is a good, 7 to 5 inches long, depending on what they are. So that'll be really cool. And then I've just been, playing when I can. I was trying to get to a game of Battle Group last Monday on President's Day, but I wound up having to work. That made me kind of sad. Battle Group aren't my favorite rules, but it's always good to play. Other than that, it's hard finding a game locally. There aren't any good players that want to play routinely locally.
Right. Oh, he's not looking.
It's not. I don't even care. Whatever.
No, it's not bad. But then I think I'm going to be putting on.
Let me tell you all something. One of the best things I saw was you two playing It Never Snows. That was
I know, and when it gets warmer out.
So
when it gets warmer out, we're playing Victory Loss, Victory.
The victory awaits.
Yeah. We're playing all 3 of those in the garage.
Their next new favorite SCS game.
Just like that's going to be incredible. I'm really excited for that. I can't wait to play it. Because I had a blast playing It Never Snows. To the point where my goofy ass was out there playing complete turns by myself because I wanted to play it and I wanted to be able to catch Toddy up on it and all that stuff. But I'm running a Spanish American War Naval game not next Thursday, the following Thursday, and that'll be fun.
Cool.
So a comment here from Steve: being Braden dead never stopped Jeff Wright from playing. Okay. A little discussion about books. Good job, Steve. About Blue and the Gray. There's a new Vassal mod for Last Full Measure McMurray from Ulan. Blah blah blah. Then kind of stick there and not talking about what they're doing. Napoleon at War Quad. Let's see here. Still trying to. Steve's getting back into Johnny Reb 2 on Tabletop Simulator and Live 15 mil. That's cool. Speaking of small naval minis, on the Compass show earlier tonight, they said the Jutland remake is almost ready to go into the printer.
Jutland is sitting right there on my table because that is also a game that is supposed to be played on a gym floor.
It says, I'll play with you on Tabletop Simulator. Victory Rates is also a solo game playing the Germans. Sad face from Brian Jarvis. Well, that's fine. We're going to kind of play it together anyway. That's kind of how we did It Never Snows. Yeah. So Ulan, Hexy did Antietam, which is a blue and gray game.
Hexy. Yeah. That was the counters I was just showing you from where I played that.
So, I actually wound up getting the Decision Games reprint of Blue and the Gray so that I would have the 2 bull runs instead of Antietam.
Stigler, you said 7 days is slowly progressing. Did I miss it? I mean, I know there's a nice list of GBACW stuff that people are working on. Are you telling me there's a 7 days GBACW in the works? Because I must have missed that one. And I am considering the Gettysburg, the 2-weekend thing up in Gettysburg, maybe going up there and visiting and hanging out with the guys when they do this thing in July. So
I have this thing too. This is an old TSR fantasy game I might whip out and play.
What is it?
It's called Lankmar.
Oh, Lankmar, yeah.
I have this. I might wind up playing this. I don't know.
That is a god-awful box cover.
Oh, yeah. It's also titled the Adult Fantasy Game, which I didn't see until I got home with it. and I had to like open it up real careful, like to make sure that it didn't have some weird shit in it. But
Are you
it looks
familiar?
to just be pretty fun.
Are you familiar with Mike Mar?
No, I have no idea what the hell it is.
Okay, it's by Fritz Lieber. It's all around the same area as Conan and all that other stuff. Lean Times. It's Fritz Lieber's bunch of short stories. So look at like these covers by what's his name, but they're written in the 30s, or 30s and 40s. So they're kind of like the old school pulp fiction stuff.
Yeah, I actually have Edgar Rice Burroughs. The John Carter on Mars. It's 20s or 10s and 20s. But
I think I think it's older, but yeah, I mean, there's tons of role playing games. People love Mike Mar. It's just kind of typical characters. Anyway,
that's good stuff there on the Peninsula. You know, everybody was hollering about. I know I was one of them. Let's see Wilderness. Now we're going to get that, and 7 days, the Peninsula campaign stuff. That would be the next one. That there's so much that can be in there. Chuck, you're going to have your list done before July. All of my guaranteed the way you play. So I'm gonna go on an OCS binge. Like I said, I'm starting with Tunisia 2 right now, and one of the things I'm doing this time playing, and if a lot of you guys probably already do this, if you don't, give it a whirl because it's made the game more enjoyable to me. Where every action I do during play, you play a series of games and you know the sequence of play by heart. You know what things come in order. But I'm actually reading the sequence of play every turn to make sure I'm not missing, I'm not skipping something, and then I'm going to, because Dean Essex good about referencing the rules sections for certain things in the sequence of play. And I tell you, I've started with Tunisia 2 here behind me, and I've already whipped through 4 turns this game. I need to shoot some videos. As a matter of fact, I need to do that this weekend. But I'm enjoying the hell out of the play a lot more than I normally do. So I'm going to go on that kick here for a little while, and I know I'll flip back over to GBACW. There's a ton of things I want to throw up on the table and play, but I got to get back to some GBACW. I'm waiting to see if the guys are going to send me what scenario they want me to deal with next. Haven't seen too many updates yet on that in the Wilderness game, but I'm going to stick with it. I'll tell you, OCS is that game, and I was chit-chatting with Kev from Big Board last night about it, that a lot of people don't like it.
OCS?
A lot of people think it's frustrating, but the supply rules in OCS, now this is my opinion, okay, for World War II, it is the best system for supply because you cannot, come on, broad front combat was not something that happened, just because the Germans attacked on a 1,200 mile front didn't mean it was always like that. Supplies, troops, vehicles were being shifted to where, oh man, we can't carry out 2. We can only carry out 1 operation. That's all we got supplies for. Well, OCS does that for you. You're just not going to fight along the whole front. Now, Tunisia 2, a little easier to deal with because the front's not so long that you got to drop supplies all over the place. I'm getting really, really good with the use of air and how to apply it in that system, and I love it. It's a great thing. I'm understanding too. There's some rules in the third winter that I probably the Kev was telling me about that I need to take a look at so that I can apply. He says they're really exciting rules in there, and of course, bringing units out of reserve. I'm starting to get in touch with that. Although in these mountains or in Tunisia here, there's really can't use the reserve stuff. Robert, my KP2 came in. I've already started punching and clipping that. Lovely, glorious 2,400 counters. I'm through about 5 sheets of it. So, John, you just finished Tunisia 2. That's good. Good stuff. Tell me your outcome. I want to know.
So what were you missing, or why is it good that you're reading through the sequence of play?
Well, it's making me. There's always those subtle rules that we tend not to see, and I wish I would have wrote down. Okay, like reaction air from the enemy. When every time I thought of the reaction phase in OCS, I thought, oh, okay, well, if they have formations that are in reserve status, they can be released in the reaction phase. It's just I completely just overlooked the fact that if you've got fighters sitting on an airfield that are active and ready to go, they can fly missions in that reaction phase. So you've got air now that gives you the chance to stunt an attack. And remember, I was telling you about that German Panzer battalion getting hit with a 7-1 attack, and they stumped the Allies with that. You know, bad battle, of course, but it was because they flew reaction air and disordered or DG'd a stack, and I still went on with the attack anyhow. So it's a great rule. Get that close air support in there right before something happens.
That's cool. Steve Small says, tell McMurray I'll play mini games with him on Tabletop Simulator.
Let me know, Steve.
And he looks forward to our game.
Is this something you guys want to see played and unboxed, folks? Let me know. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe that will be the next one. I don't know. That just seems real random and unlike the other stuff I've been playing.
Why not?
It's fair. Why not?
People love these old games. I mean, God, that drive on Stalingrad, I didn't think that was going to draw so much attention, and it did. So I can't imagine something like that. That would probably go off the shelf.
Brian says, are you reading an expanded SOP from the rulebook or a summary page?
So, okay, so Brian, I have the 4.3 rule book with the sequence play, and then I have that wonderful card that somebody created that has all the little steps you can do. But if something's a little open-ended to me, I might look at that card. But I'm using the rule book like 99% of the time, just reading what the steps are in the 4.3. And then I think what it's helping me do is it's helping me get the rules right. Because I know damn well now after the OCS stuff that I played, that there were things that I just completely did not get right. And I'm really doing my best here to get, well, you know, I had, what's the darn, I had Baltic Gap set up and was trying to play Doppelkopf. And I was like, why? Why is this one even in there? There's no way this German force is going to do anything. Even with 8 Panzer divisions on the attack.
8 Panzer divisions in Tunisia?
No, Baltic Gap.
Oh, it's like I don't know that there are 8 German divisions in Tunisia, barely.
So I took that one down. So okay, you know what? Let's get this thing right. Let's play it from top to bottom. I thought, okay, this is going to be slow and painful, but it hasn't been. So
it's probably because you have a basic idea of the game, so you're not like it's not everything's new.
Right.
And by the way, just in case, if anyone out there has Tunisia 2 and they just wanted to send it to me out of the goodness of their heart, that's Todd Reed 11 or just for a minimal cost. No, anyway.
Death Valley, Mark. Death Valley.
Anyway. So Meandering Mike would like to see an unboxing on Lankmar on Hexy's channel.
You're the one who just whipped out books on Lankmar. I feel like you'd be the one that'd be able to talk about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about it.
Yeah. I feel like you know more about it.
We'll do it on my channel, Jamie.
We'll do that. We'll do that tonight, Mike. That way it can go up whenever it's convenient for Toddy.
Great. Thanks, Mike.
Volunteered you. How do you like that one?
John, I'm playing the campaign. We were discussing that earlier. That's my big table. I'm going to do my best. And if a game takes me freaking 5 months to play, it's staying up the best I can.
That's a question for me on playing those campaigns. Yeah, I'm going to write it down right now so I remember, but not ask it here.
All right. So last little question here for everybody out there. One game that you must play this year, that you must play. Everybody out there in chat land, one game in your brain that you must play this year.
If it comes out, Storm over Jerusalem.
Really? Really?
If it comes out,
that's your final answer?
Unless Ardennes, I'm not holding my breath on Ardennes too. I'm not. As much as I want it to happen, I'm not holding my breath. I don't want to put. I feel like it's more likely that Storm over Jerusalem is going to come out this year than Ardennes 2, and I don't want to get myself all hyped up for Ardennes 2 and be waiting the whole year and then just get to December feeling deflated if it doesn't come out. Because I also don't want them to rush it out. I want it to be good. Storm over Stalingrad also, but again, dude, that game is long as shit. It's like 4.5 feet long or something ridiculous. But yeah. Probably those two.
1914 knock Paris. Stig, I didn't know that was up your alley. OCS Burma Hops. I'm gonna get to that one too. I got through Todd because Todd played it and thought it was interesting, and I'm gonna have to get that out. Walt's gonna play Undaunted North Africa, and that's the new one, I believe, right? Undaunted North Africa. Wellington versus Napoleon. Now you're talking about the one from Lock and Load, Stig. The World Undone, 1914 Serbia. I don't know this one, Chris. Fire in the East. You know, all my nice little GDWs are sitting up on that shelf in there. I got the entire collection.
Speaking of GDW, Sky Galleons of Mars might be one, actually.
On to Richmond 2. Air Court, Tony. All right, cool. Yeah, I did have Battle Above the Clouds set up, and I was 2 turns into the first 4-turn scenario, and it was okay. But like I say, my mind was going elsewhere, and that's when I determined, okay, we're going to binge some OCS as long as my brain and my heart can take it. Successors with the weekly. There's another game I don't know much about. Wonderland's War. Chuck, don't know nothing about that one, but there you go. Manders, A Most Fearful Sacrifice. All right. The back end of that 3-system set that Herman Lutman created, freaking excellent game. I was fortunate enough for Herman to send me one. I played the hell out of it. Great game. Jaws of Victory. There we go, Todd. There's Casca playing Jaws of Victory. I know we've talked about that. Quattrobana series. Got to play the 4. Oh, yeah, that's right. Mike, you said that. I'll be waiting to see what you do with that. Good stuff, guys. Todd, you got one you want to particularly play?
Man, yeah, I was looking at my list, man. There's a bunch I made promises to, so I guess I want to go with that Victory Awaits game.
Wait a minute. Let's talk about. You just made a purchase.
I did.
Closed out a system.
Yep, I made a purchase that will complete my system of the new blue boxes. That's, I said, blue boxes. Stonewall Jackson's Way 2 will complete my GCACW blue box collection. Not counting on to Richmond 2, which is not out yet, which is also on pre-order. So
go sub to Mike's channel, guys. He's giving stuff away for free if he gets another sub. Gets another subscriber.
Thank you,
Peter, TCS. There, you know, I almost shed tears every time somebody mentions the TCS game because twice I've had TCS on the table. The system really intrigues the hell out of me, and I want to learn it. But I thought to myself, you know what? I already know 90% of OCS. Let's master that thing. And then I somewhere along the line, TCS has got to come back out. I'm not going to pass on that system. That's just too interesting.
Yep.
I don't know when I'm going to get to KP2, Robert. I'm glad I got it. What? It's a lot of game in that box. A lot of game.
That is a lot.
A lot of game. And I think the total thing is, I want to say it's four maps. So
that's a big game.
Strategic maps in there and stuff like that. Rulebook doesn't look like it's real extreme, but
yeah, I like those setup maps. Those are pretty cool. That's interesting. Yeah, those New England simulation games are pretty cool. I was tempted because all the talk about Course on Pocket, the tick, not tick videos, but I don't know, World War Every Day, day by day or whatever, week by week, did it, Course on Pocket. I was like, man, Jaws of Victory might be interesting. So I've said no to a couple games.
John, that you're a TCS guy. So, yeah.
Todd, are you not a tick fan?
No, I do like it. It just wasn't a tick video that I watched.
Okay.
No, I like him a lot.
I'm about to say, that man could put some stuff into a video.
You know, so, and I opened my mouth to Big Board last night, and I told him, and it's true, I'm not going to lie about it. We know how fond I am of the EFS system from GMT. Well, OCS, I think, took a step up above it.
Oh, baby.
Don't get me wrong. I think what's going to happen is that once I have this OCS down pat, that might make EFS that much more fun to play.
Oh, that's interesting. So, I mean, the cool thing about EFS is that it really focuses on that Barbarossa time period. The good thing about OCS is that you cover the whole war.
Yeah.
Has anyone tried Infantry Attacks by Avalanche Tactical World War I? That sounds awesome. Do they have anything do they have Sergeant Yorks nonsense, or do they have anything set in Germany, East Africa, 1914 and 15 in Kala? Because Nangwaya, that's the way to do it. Yes, Stigler. Yes. Obsessive compulsive. Jeff has to have every single one of them and play 0 of them so far.
Oh,
I do have them all. I even have first editions of some of them.
Exactly.
he sent me a first edition one. He's
Hey,
trying to
Stig, I also got all the GBACWs and 2 copies of some of them. You should hear about the trade that Todd and I made. I already had the game and still wanted the other copy of it.
Yeah, I got the entire victory system because he wanted that game. Well, the MMP versions.
I got another copy of Death Valley. So
I was like, that seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
See you later, sucker. So I didn't know they made a infantry version set for Panzer Grenadier. That's interesting. Is it platoon scale? I don't know what kind of World War I it's like, but
Matt, Old Chestnut, War Without an Enemy.
Dang, dude, good one.
I tell you, I think a lot of people in that. Well, first off, Patrick Pence is already he's already vaseline the hell out of the OTR 3. So I got a feeling when that game gets shipped, a lot of people are going to go. Yeah, I agree, Stig. Death Valley, I agree 100%. That is, of all the systems, it's got the most punch in the box. So, and the guys, from when I'm talking with Tom and everything, apparently, well, you're talking about the 7 Days Peninsula stuff. If that's going to be a 1-boxer, that's going to have a boatload in it. And from what I understand, there's some Trans-Mississippi stuff that's in the works that's would be a nice load and a nice load of gaming in 1 box.
McMurray, you can get infantry attacks from Board Game Geek for $26.
So I'm gonna have to look at the crunchiness because I forgot where I'm at. But yeah, I mean, maybe, who knows?
Yeah,
I still need to finish. I think I'm gonna do 15 millimeter minis to do a bunch of those whatchamacallit campaigns, skirmish campaign scenarios. Because you were nice enough to help me get that, to order that book for me off of On Military Matters, and I feel like
that's right. Yeah.
So I need to get some 15 millimeter stuff, which shouldn't be hard at all to do. But yeah, it'll be cool.
So the infantry attacks games, infantry attacks Black Mountain, August 1914, Fall of Empires, Friend Joseph's armies, Lawrence of Arabia, the Chihuahua incident, 1916. We need to send that to who.
That's awesome. Between that and Lawrence of Arabia, I'm already in.
The Mouse That Roared, Estonia's Freedom War, and to hell with Spain.
You guys are really riding me hard on this. All right, well, great. So now I have something to go look up and spend money on later. Thanks, guys. That's what I needed today.
Like you needed us to make you do that.
Dude, I've been good about not.
He has been good, but now he knows about a new system.
I've been really good about. I haven't been buying miniatures. Honestly, in the last year, I did pretty well with getting a whole lot more completed than I took. And honestly, even with games, I didn't do too bad. Like board games, I didn't do too bad. I got a lot of games played last year, to be honest with you.
You did. But you have McMurray's. You got a stick-to-itiveness that I don't have. I mean, I guess it's. I don't know. I would have thought you and I'd be in the same boat where, well, and Todd to an extent, but I can set this thing up and it can just stay there, and then I'll walk in and do something for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and then some days I'll walk in and do 2 or 3 hours worth of it.
See,
and walk away and might not touch it again for a week. But McMurray, when he plays,
yeah. So I play in this room. This is my dining room. My front door is that way. The rest of my house is that way. So anytime I come in or out of my house, I see the game that I have set up, which means either it gets me super motivated to play it, or it gets me super pissed off that it's just sitting there. And so I play it to be done with it and put it away.
Sawyer, yeah, Camp, I do, brother. Matter of fact, I need to get another copy of the expansion to put with this other Death Valley I got. I'm debating what I might do with that other Death Valley. It's so hard for me to part. I sent Steve Mall, I think the first version of 3 Dog a while back. and I almost killed him. So I got to be careful about doing that anymore. But GBACW, I'm jealous. Tom Fernbacker had 4 copies of Into the Woods sitting up on his shelf that were unstringed. I'm afraid I would be real bad about stuff like that when it comes to G. Look, CWBS, phenomenal. Love that order system in that game. I think it's a great game. RSS, well, it's in between. Line of Battle's fine, but okay, I'm gonna say it. Don't hate me. Line of Battle, it doesn't touch the details that GBACW does. I'm sorry, it just doesn't do it for me. If you want something, maybe it plays a little faster for you, then okay, go for it. LOB, fine, have at it. I think you'd be better off playing LOB using CWBS type rules myself, but I'm sorry, GBACW, I don't think it's touched by any other civil ACW system out there. And my guns are, and so unless somebody develops something new, and when they put out the Wilderness game in Line of Battle, I will buy it, no doubt, and I'll try to get on the table. But if you told me Hexy, choose, it's going to be GBACW. End of story. So with that, I think we're going to shut this thing down because my stomach's been growling at me since we started. I don't know why. I ate like a big dog. I got groceries delivered tonight. Delivered. They brought them in the house and put them on the counter for me.
Oh, dang.
They were so nice. I didn't tip them though. So. But I did order it.
You're about to get one more, Mike. I think I have a second channel that I can get in there.
All right, guys. We're going to close this thing out. Hey, man. Everybody coming in tonight, that's awesome.
Yeah, good turnout.
Yeah, there's been a lot of names in the texture, and a lot of people have been on here for a while.
Unplug this. The 9th, right? 9th of March.
Yes.
2 Thursdays from now. We're going to do a show where we're going to sort of debate optional rules.
Are we going to debate or just kind of discuss our feelings?
Debate, discuss, whatever. We may get into a heated discussion about something. We may bump heads on what we think is valid, what we think is not valid. Maybe the audience.
Well, yeah, that's because half of your optional rules involve Robert E. Lee growing a cape and being able to fly.
So that one's already pre-posted. And when I hope to see y'all. I'd love to see double the numbers in that thing because I think the discussion is going to be really, really good that night. We're going to go back and forth. So
I would imagine it will be.
Yeah. And I think between the 3 of us, it's going to be some really good. Between the 3 of us and all y'all out there, it's going to be some great conversations. And I'm going to tell you what has sparked that for me to, I discussed it with these 2 guys was playing Drive on Stalingrad. Don't know why, but that optional rule variant thing came up in my brain. I said, you know what? We need to discuss this because and I'm going to go through, I don't know what the guys are doing, but I'm going to go through some of these games that have optional rules and just take a look at some examples and see what stings and what works. And we're going to have a discussion about it. So like I said, the 9th, it's already in there. It's posted on Facebook. It's posted on YouTube. So make sure if y'all find time, get that one in your planner for that night because we're going to have a great talk about that stuff. And with that, hey, guys, Todd, Andrew, thanks for being here. All y'all out there in chat land, hit that, come on, guys, hit the bell, hit the like button, give me that like, Andrew, that thumbs up. All right, we need to build on that stuff right there.
Just caress that bell.
Press that bell, hit thumbs up so you can get notified every time we put out a new video.
Oh, be more gentle. Caress it.
Yeah. And you can see anything that Andrew does on my channel or Todd's channel, depending on what it is.
Accurate.
We'll get some more stuff up here soon. I apologize. I haven't posted a video in a couple of weeks. I got sick for about 5 days, but I'll get some bunch of stuff out here this weekend. And I know that the guys have some stuff coming up. And with that, peace. Good night. We'll talk to y'all later. See you.
Bye-bye.